Hi, this is Steve Fischer again. Thanks for joining me. While planning our celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Brooklyn Bridge, we decided to look at it from a different angle, from the bottom up. And to do this, we were fortunate enough to have a tugboat at our disposal. In fact, while we were out there on the tug, a very interesting situation occurred. Why should I tell you about it? Why don't you join me? Come on along and let's see what happened. The Brooklyn Bridge, connecting Manhattan with the city of Brooklyn. Yes, I said the city of Brooklyn. Originally, Brooklyn was a city. It is now one of the 5 boroughs. But at the time of the completion of the Brooklyn Bridge, Brooklyn itself was a city. We're going to take a trip around Brooklyn. Now, generally, this trip is not too often taken as a trip because we're going to go around via tugboat. We're going around Brooklyn the same way as the Dutch went around Brooklyn with their sailing ships when they originally came here and started New Amsterdam, later becoming the city of New York. The tugboat is one of the McAllister tugs, a major tug company operating in Brooklyn for many, many years. So what do you say? Let's go aboard and take our trip around Brooklyn. This is the site of the famed Brooklyn Navy Yard. During 2 world wars, this Navy Yard was responsible for taking care of ships from the entire world. I believe the Navy Yard goes back to Civil War, and if you ever visit the Navy Yard, you can visit one of the early submarines. Yes, it's outside the Officers Club, and that submarine was built during the Civil War. Yes, I said the Civil War. Submarine warfare dates back to very early days as far as the history of this country is concerned. But the Brooklyn Navy Yard now takes on a different look. You're looking at one of the largest cranes in the world, nicknamed the Hammerhead because it looks like a hammerhead. This crane is capable of lifting an entire ship out of the water. During the war, World War I and World War II, vessels would come in with severe damage. The Hammerhead would come in and sometimes lift the half of the ship right off and swing a new half directly onto it. Looking to the right, we come to, of course, Liberty Island and the majestic Queen, the Statue of Liberty. Originally, Liberty Island was called Bedloe's Island and was renamed Liberty Island fairly recently. We're in luck. We were called off our panoramic view of Brooklyn by a radio call. It said a ship has to be sailed. Sail, that brings back some ancient memories of when ships did travel by sail. Asking the captain, what do we mean that the ship has to be sailed? He said, well, the Lash Pacifico has to be pulled away from its dock, brought out into the river, turned around so it can go on its way. And here we are, ready to document the sailing of a modern ocean-going liner. Excuse me, Captain, about what is the weight of a ship like this?
Something like this probably displaces or weighs 50, 60,000 tons.
50 or 60,000 tons. And how long would you say it is?
This ship is over 800 feet.
800 feet long. Wow. 50 or 60,000 tons, 800 feet long. Now, if you think you have trouble assisting Mom getting the car out of the garage, imagine if you had to move something that is approximately 4 city blocks long. Captain's going to do it. Other one. Yeah. 60,000 tons on its way. We're now in the wheelhouse of the tug McAllister Brothers, and I'm going to speak to the captain, Simon Zarovich. You'll have to excuse me if I'm a little unsteady, as the river is a little unsteady too. Simon, may I just ask you a few questions? I know you're busy bringing the tug back into the dock. How long are you a tug captain?
I've been doing this about 4 years now.
And how many years sea experience do you have?
Altogether, about 12 years. I started with McAllister in '71.
And the talk back that we hear near us are just communication between other McAllister brother tugs. Let me ask you about the tug itself. How many horsepower does it have?
Boat has about 1,600 horsepower.
And it must use a lot of fuel. How much fuel can it carry, and how long will that fuel last?
Boat carries around 30,000 gallons of fuel, which would probably last us over a month, since we use somewhere around 5,000 gallons of fuel per week.
5,000 gallons of fuel a week. Next time you go into the gas station and put 20 gallons in the car, you can feel a little better about that. Now, Simon, as far as this tug, it works day and night.
Yes, it does. We work around the clock. Ships come and go at any time of the day.
Then how many hours, or how many, do you work more than one day in a row?
Yes, we're on the boat for 2 days at a time, then we're off for 2 days.
So you're on for 2 days, off for 2 days. How big a crew does this boat have?
The boat has a crew of 6. There's a pilot, a captain, 2 deckhands, an engineer, and a cook.
And a cook, so that you actually have your meals hot, made to order for you each mealtime.
Right, exactly. That's the way it is. We've fed very well, I must say.
Well, we were fortunate enough to have lunch, courtesy of McAllister Brother Tugs, and I can attest to that fact. Well, we're pulling back into our wharf, and we've had our trip around Brooklyn. I hope you were as interested as we were. Brooklyn, the city of Brooklyn, now the borough of Brooklyn. And we're going to continue on with some more interesting facts about Brooklyn and the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Brooklyn Bridge. See you in just a little while. An exciting experience, a wonderful day, and we thank you for joining us on this trip. And right now, this is Steve Fisher saying, see you again sometime, soon, I hope.